Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a really great day today. Welcome to Studio Rapour. That is my art studio slash craft room slash office where all the pretty things are made. So in today's video, this is a little bit different than the normal stuff that I post on YouTube, but I've been making glitter tumblers for the last couple months now and I'm obsessed. They're all over the place. I love making them so much. So I thought that I would add these videos into my channel as well. So I hope you enjoy. When I first started making, or before I even started making tumblers, I had no idea what went into the process. I didn't realize that it took literally days to make these. So I really enjoyed watching, and I still watch them every day. I love watching tutorials on people making different types, so I thought I would do that as well. So here we are. In today's video, I'm going to show you, and I'm so bummed I don't have the cup anymore, but I'm going to do a rose gold burst ombre tumbler. It is for a girlfriend of mine. I actually met her at Michael Kors. She was a sales associate there, and she was so sweet. Like every time there would be a sale or something, she'd send me a text like, "Hey girl, we got a big sale going on. You got to come in, blah, blah, blah." So we've become friends since then. She was going on a month-long road trip and wanted a custom tumbler to go along with her. So she has that. She is gallivanting around the United States, just having the time of her life. So I love the tumbler so much that I made it available on my Etsy shop. They are all custom made. I don't keep them in stock just because it would just be impossible. I have too many different sizes available. So that is on my Etsy shop. All of the items that I used today, I will link in the description box down below. I don't think there's anything else I need to say, so let's go ahead and get started. For this project, I'm using a 30-ounce straight tumbler from Amazon. I always prep my cups by scuffing them up really good with a sanding block. I want to make sure that the finish that came from the manufacturer has been scraped off, so anything that I apply to my tumbler after has a great chance of sticking. Make sure you get the bottom really well and then the rim. I then also wash the cup with a mild detergent, rinse it off with water, and then dry it off really well before I start my spray painting. Now, whenever spray painting, you want to make sure that you're in a really well ventilated area. I'm in my garage today because it was pouring outside. I'm starting off with a flat white, and I do the top and bottom. I will always wind up doing a couple coats. You don't want it to go on too thick because then it will run and it just doesn't look as good. Then I go in the middle with the champagne pink. This just basically gives you the outline of where your glitter colors are gonna go. Once I'm happy with the coverage on my tumbler with the spray paint and I have nice even coats, I'm going to go ahead and let it dry for about 15 to 30 minutes in my garage and then bring it inside and I will start applying Mod Podge. Mod Podge is what I will be using to have the glitter stick to the tumbler. I go between this and the epoxy method depending on the style of tumbler I'm doing. This one I didn't feel that I needed to have a lot of workable time, so I stuck with Mod Podge. So after that's fully coated, I'm going to go ahead and start with my glitters. This first glitter I'm going in with is from Peachy Olive Glitters, and it's the color Opal Majesty. It's such a beautiful white iridescent glitter. I'm going to start with the top and the bottom, and then go into the middle with Rose Gold Opal from Peachy Olive Glitters. This is a chunkier mix. Whenever glittering, you always want to start with the chunkier mixes first and then go work your way towards the finer cuts. So this one, because it's a burst, I'm doing this chunkier one right in the middle. And as I tilt the tumbler, it will allow the ombre effect to start to take place. And I'm just going to keep layering. You want to make sure that as you're doing it, you're just doing light coats so that you can really build up your coverage. And again, just tilting it a little bit and tapping off the excess in between coats. The last color I'm going to add to this part of the cup is Skinny Rose Opal by Peachy Olive Glitters as well. So I'm going to go in the middle where that chunky blend is, and I'm going to go over it with this finer cut just to make sure that I have full coverage and I didn't miss any spots. And then I'm going to start really getting that ombre into effect by really tilting my tumbler and spinning it. You will notice as I do these tutorials, I never ever apply glitter while my cup is on a turner. I always hand turn them. I just find that I have a lot more control. I've never even tried to do it on a turner, but I just feel like I have more control doing it this way. Taking a look at the tumbler, I'm really happy with how the outline of the colors is coming along. So now I'm going to go in with one final coat of glitter, just with the finer cuts, and really go really heavy. I want to make sure that no spot has been missed, everything is covered, and I want to make sure that the ombre has a really nice blend to it. I don't like harsh lines on my cup, so I really take quite a bit of time to make sure that it's exactly the way that I want it to look. Making sure, again, to tap off all of the excess glitter that we have. And you will see me doing this didn't work out so well. I tapped a little too hard and my tumbler fell right off my little stand. I wasn't gonna show this part, but honestly, like, stuff like this happens all the time. So you just fix it. I dipped it in that Opal Majesty again to cover it up. You couldn't even really tell, so everything was fine, but stuff like that happens all of the time. I let my Mod Podge and glitter dry for about 2 to 3 hours before I spray it with Rustoleum's 2X clear coat. I didn't film that part, I totally forgot, but I let that dry for about a half hour or so. I put a good amount on. I don't want the glitter to move before I start epoxying my cup. The first coat of epoxy, I go in with at least 30 mLs on this 30-ounce cup because it is a lot of glitter on a cup. I let that cure for about 4 to 6 hours before going into my second coat, which I'm applying now. I always make sure that I run my hands up and down the cup over the bottom to make sure that the rim is covered really well. The bottom, there's no lumps, it's pretty smooth. And then I go in with my torch to make sure that I pop any air bubbles that may be there. So as I'm editing this, I'm realizing that I lied to you a couple minutes ago because here I am applying glitter to a cup that is on a turner. This is literally the only cup that I've applied glitter like this to, which is why I said that earlier. This cup was absolutely perfect before, but I wanted to add a little bit more depth and dimension. So right after that second coat of epoxy was applied and then I used the torch to get all the bubbles out, I let this turn for about 5 minutes, and then this glitter is from Michael's by Recollections. It's a really, really chunky rose gold glitter, and I poured some into a little medicine cup so I had an easier time gripping it, and I'm just lightly sprinkling it over the middle of the cup, moving up and down lightly to also get that ombre effect with this. If there's any rogue pieces that went too far, I simply just wipe it off with my finger to make sure that every piece is where I want it to be. I don't want any pieces really high up into that white. Now I'm going to change out my parchment paper, and this glitter is a stunning mix, like a chunky mix. It's like a white iridescent, but it has almost a slight color shift to like a green, but it doesn't look green. It's hard to explain, but this glitter is by Counterculture. It's called Ivory Sky, and it is so pretty. So I'm just using the same process, going through, making sure that I have nice coverage around the whole cup. I'm going to let this cup sit on the turner for 8 to 12 hours to allow the epoxy to cure. Now, this first of 2 final coats of epoxy, I'm going to apply, I probably used 20 mLs here. I did a big batch of cups, so I don't know the exact measurements, but after this first coat is applied, I'm gonna let that cure for anywhere between 12 to 24 hours because then I have to sand my cup. And I always like to make sure that it has had ample time to really cure and harden. I don't know why, but I totally forgot to film the part where I sanded the cup. But basically, I just go around the top of the cup with a sanding block and make sure that I get everything really smooth, and I expose a little bit of stainless up at the top so the epoxy can adhere to the side of the cup, not the top of the rim. It just has a better seal that way. You also want to make sure that around the cup where all the glitter is, there's no sharp parts, So you want to make sure you can sand that down so the whole cup is smooth from top to bottom. After the final coat of epoxy has cured for about 24 hours, I go ahead and clean the cup up. I make sure there's no spray paint inside. I wash it and just make sure it is good to go to the customer. Here I have it on a turner outside so you can see what it looks like all done. This cup turned out so beautiful. I'm so happy with the way that it turned out. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I certainly enjoyed creating it for you. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really helps support my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified of all my future uploads. I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. Also, don't forget to follow Studio Rapour on Etsy, Facebook, and Instagram. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and we will see you soon. Bye.